What's up, everyone? Welcome to the SML Show presented by Yamaha Motors. I'm Donn Maeda, joined by my friend Carson Mumford, who I have known you for so long. But we said this the last time, obviously, but we're doing this new show now called the On 2 Show. And we featured you in the Hard Drive Roulette a few episodes ago at Milestone on your CRF 150.
Yep.
But dude, I was looking back, and even on my phone, my daughter Megan, she used to do our racers interviews. I have an interview that she's doing with you, and you're just like this little kid, Troy Lee gear on a Cowie.
Yeah, probably one of your old Swap Moto races, honestly, or Trans World at the time. But yeah, it seems like I just can't get rid of you, dude. You can't get rid of me.
Around, yeah.
It's just going on and on.
And it's so trippy now. You're like a married adult now.
Right?
Okay. Now, so Chase and I had this discussion on the way here. How old are you now?
24.
24. Okay,
Yep.
so we were thinking you're like 22, 23 maybe.
I'm getting old, dude.
So Megan was only like 3 years older than you then.
Yeah.
The difference between you and her at that point, you're
It's
so
huge,
little.
yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Yep.
You hit a growth spurt, eh?
Seriously, I don't think I was ever going to grow. I don't think even my parents thought I was going to grow because I was so small for so long.
Yeah.
And even on my driver's license, when I got my actual license and my photo and everything, it looked like I was a baby, and the weight said I was 105 pounds. And then so I was like, well, I was 15 and a half. I just got on big bikes, and I was only 105 pounds when I got on big bikes, and I was 5'3". So now to be 6 foot, I'm 165 pounds. Like, I'm fully grown now.
Yeah, that's funny. Okay, so you got married last winter?
In November.
November.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not one to talk. I mean, I got married. My wife was 19 and I was 24.
Yep.
So I got married early.
Yep.
I got married early because my mom passed away when I was 23, and I'm all, this sucks. I am not going to be an old parent.
Yeah.
Because my mom was 40 when she had me. So I'm like, that's it. I'm going to be a young parent. Well, let's get married, because I was dating my wife at the time, right? What made you want to get married? Is this kind of young for you or no?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, there was even years I'd be like, I'm never going to get married. Kind of, obviously, as you grow up, you kind of learn what you're into and become, more mentally, like, just aware of everything.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I just, she definitely was sacrificing a lot for me always. And, for me, it was always like, once I made the decision I wanted to get married, obviously I feel like you got to spend quite a bit of time together, and we've been together for a little over 4 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I kind of, one of the biggest things for me was when we moved to MTF, she's
Motorhome life.
Yeah, she's born and raised in California, kind of a small town girl, did the whole elementary, high school thing, and I was always young, traveling, kind of doing the motocross scene.
Yeah.
So for her to kind of dive into that, and then obviously with some couples, it probably isn't even on the table for the wife or even for the husband to just kind of drop everything, or boyfriend and girlfriend to drop everything and move states. And obviously it's a gamble for her, and I can only imagine what her parents were thinking too, right? Because early 20s, and I think I was 22, she was 21. It's like, okay, we're going to move to the complete opposite side of the United States. Mm-hmm. For me to go pursue motocross and live in a trailer and do all that. And I didn't even have to ask. Like, I told her, like, hey, there's this, this team, I'm probably going to have to move, and, that seems like what's best for my career. And she's just like, okay, so, like, how do we do this, And it definitely meant a lot to me, and it showed that, she's kind of just along for the ride, because it's definitely not that appealing. This job can be appealing to whoever, to girls, to whoever, and it does seem like there's some bandwagoners out there that are, part of everyone's life, and she stuck with me through the thick of it, right? It's not very enticing to go live in a trailer in 100-degree heat. And
then last year wasn't the best.
No, I was hurt most of it. So, yeah, to see her do that, and she had a job in California that she worked at for, 4 years at the time, and she could have easily moved up to management there and cruised, kind of. And she was just like, quit her job. She sold her car, and we just sent it,
Did you sell the motorhome yet?
Yeah, we got rid of it. Okay. Finally. But yeah, so then we moved out there, and obviously it's pretty gnarly. Like I said before, I'd spent a lot of years traveling in a trailer, going to these amateur races, but my dad pretty much handled everything because, I was really catered to just try and get good results. So then to kind of just be dropped off out there, and not know how to operate a newer trailer that well.
Yeah.
There was a lot of times we were just trial and error screwing up, and it was very uncomfortable. Yeah, exactly. And, it got the most snow it's ever gotten there in 40 years. So it was like dealing with that, and then, propane went out. Okay, we got to go to Tractor Supply. Well, the roads are frozen over. There's a lot of like, we're just in the thick of it. Let's get through it. And then I broke both my legs last year, so her taking care of me and stuff, I really got to see the best and the worst and the ugly of her, and the same with me. So after living through that, it was definitely, eye-opening and made me feel even better. And I think getting married happened quicker than I even anticipated too, just going through so much struggle together. Yeah,
that's awesome though. You know, also though, you're married, you have the girl of your dreams now.
Yep.
Focus on racing, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about the whole dating and all.
Yeah, I catch myself wearing a lot of just not trendy clothing and things like that. Like I was traveling in the airport last weekend, and I have like these compression socks that go basically up to my knees. I'm wearing them with shorts on and like Crocs, and people are like, dude, what are you wearing? And I'm like, yeah, married man,
Okay,
I'm here for the function now, dude. So, no, but it is good. We have a really good system. We work together really well on chasing this dream. We know it's not going to last forever. So we're enjoying it. We've been flying into the races on Thursdays because they're pretty far. Kind of can get screwed over on weather and stuff. And we've been really enjoying our time just, walking around and sightseeing together and doing things like that I don't typically do on my own. So she's kind of brought me out of my shell a little bit on that. And I've been having a good time. And I think, just being happy and everything like that, doing fun stuff makes race weekends feel like not such a job.
I think we follow her on the Swap Moto Live Instagram. So I get to see the skits and stuff. Like, does she really break your boots in?
Yeah, she does. So like, I think she just likes doing it for the content and stuff, because so many people are like, really, he's making you break his boots in, right? But I like it. Like, if she wears my boots around the house for a day or something like that, it makes it so much easier. It's like getting the first day of riding out of the way.
Yeah, that's awesome. We're going to take a quick break to hear from our sponsors. Back for more.
I'm Eli Tomac, and I choose OGL.
I'm Cooper Webb.
I'm Malcolm Stewart.
RJ Hampshire.
I'm Josh Moda, and I choose Ojo.
I'm Aaron Plessinger.
What's up, guys? I'm Hunter Lawrence.
My name's Jet Lawrence. I'm Hayden Deegan, and I choose OGO.
Guys, welcome back to the SML Show presented by Yamaha Motors with Carson Mumford. So, big fan of your dad, Scott Mumford. I think you mentioned to me last time you were on the show that you had some health issues. I just had some crazy health issues, so we got to connect and talk and catch up and stuff. So I always love that about Scott. Just we can instantly go back to our old friendship from back in the day. So because of that, it makes me totally non-impartial journalist, because I'm always rooting for you, right? So, dude, 2026 motocross, you're killing it, dude.
Thank you.
What, 8th at Redbud?
Yep.
On essentially a privateer bike. I'm not talking down on the AO bike at all, because it's an amazing team, and we love Mark and everything. But, dude, you're killing it. And then after such a shit 25.
Yeah. No, it's been rad. Like, me and Jeremy, we've just been pumped each weekend. Like, leaving the race, both are just stoked with how everything's been going. And it's tough. Like, it's a deep field. I think every year people will say the same thing, right? But I think all the way back to like 20th place, there's factory bikes, and we've been the top non-factory bike every single weekend. So it's been awesome. I've gotten some good results. I got a 7th at the second moto at High Point, you know, multiple top 10 overalls, and the last moto at Redbud last weekend, I got 7th again. And it's been cool because, you know, even the 7th places, like 6th and 5th, I literally finished on the finish line 2 seconds behind, you know, basically we're battling for 5th. So it's been cool, you know, it doesn't feel like, you know, it definitely hasn't been, I get a whole shot and fade to 7th. It's been like kind of dicing it up and battling with those guys. So it's been good. It's you know, it's been feeling really good to put in some good results. And I also feel like there's a little bit more on the table too. So that's always motivating and fun.
You did well at Hangtown, didn't you?
Yeah, I did okay at Hangtown. I think I went 8-11 there, so I got
so when you're an 8,
overall.
I'm like, you came around all. Look at Mumpy, belongs there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not now. It's to the point where if you're like outside the top 10, you're gonna be pissed.
Yeah, seriously.
You know you belong there, and you believe in yourself and the bike and the team and everything. So.
And it's cool because it's changed, right? Like I had a rough last year with injuries, and then I had a rough Supercross season, and coming into this outdoor season, you know, I was like, I don't even know what to expect because, you know, I don't want to get my hopes up and be let down. And then obviously I had a good showing at the Moto Fest at the Glen Helen race, and I was like, well, cool. That was like only a week before the season. I'm like, wow, I'm actually riding good. I'm in pretty good shape. And, you know, even at Paula, I think I got like 10th or 11th overall. So I was like, okay, cool. You know, I didn't know if I was going to get 15th. Just kind of looking at the running order, you don't really know where you're going to fit in. So that was cool. And we've been kind of slowly building, you know, and it's been awesome.
Was it hard? I mean, shit. When GEICO went away, it's just been kind of up down for you.
Oh, dude,
know? Like,
it completely took the wind out of my sails. Right, like I had a really, really good bike and a really good team, and you know I had that for so long at a young age. You do kind of become, for lack of better words, like kind of naive that like you just think all the other bikes are good, you know. So you think that I could do good on any bike, and it's tough because the bikes make a really big difference. And also being young, you can rely on having a good team. So not only all that, but also just the heartbreak, right? It sucked. I had 2 more years still left on my contract, so you kind of are taking it slow. And I actually had a pretty good rookie season. I think I got like 5 top 10 overalls. So it's like, you know, I wasn't a Hayden Deegan or a Jet Lawrence, but in the grand scheme of things, I definitely did good enough. In any other year, I would have gotten a factory ride the next year. But yeah, things just kind of fell apart, and it took so many years of making so many like just uneducated decisions, right? Like go ride for a team and the bike's not that good, and struggle really bad and get injured, and then try and keep racing injured when I should have just taken the time off to get healed up, or even just sat out. You know, I see some riders like Nick Romano, he didn't even attempt to race this year until he got a fill-in ride. Like that's an educated decision, right? He kind of, that's something I wish I would have done. There's always kind of riders that, you know, end up getting hurt, which it sucks to say, but it just is part of our sport. And a lot of the times if you know, like I'm a factory level rider, I'm just going to kind of wait, kind of happens.
It's a calculated risk.
Yeah, it for sure is. But it's pretty risky to go ride on equipment that's not that good, or stuff that's a little shoddy. So it's, you know, it's tough. And I think one of the biggest mistakes that I made, and to any kid that's listening, just don't race injured, you know, unless, you know, there's obviously times and places, like if you're in a championship battle, or, you know, it's a contract year and you got a couple races left, right? But there were so many times that, you know, I would just come into the season hurt, and I would just be like, I'm going to push through, I'm going to do this. And then, you know, if you look at my stats, it's like, they're unimpressive, but I could give you a reason why on each one, but no one cares, you know? It's like,
that was a hand, that was a wrist.
I was riding with a broken wrist, or a torn calf, or this or that, and it's like, at the end of the day, no one really cares. So it's been good to kind of, it hasn't been good to deal with it, but it's been good that I've learned that, and, you know, I think it's made me an educated person, and, you know, I've definitely had to learn the hard way with a lot of things, but it's really making me appreciate the situation I'm in with, you know, with the AEO team. I'm really loving being here. I hope to stay here, and you know, it's just making me super appreciative for when things are going right too, because there was years I was literally laying in bed going, am I cursed? Like, I don't understand. It seems like anytime I make a decision, it's the wrong one, and if I play out, if I would have chose the other decision, it would have been the wrong one too. So I just didn't know what I was doing, and now it kind of seems like things are, my luck's changing a little bit, and I think you do make your own luck with your mentality. And I had a hard time admitting it for years, but I was a super negative person, and rightfully so. There's a lot of negative and bad things kind of I was dealing with, but Jeremy, my boss and the AEO team owner, he's helped me a lot this year, just being like, hey, dude, just take a breath, be more positive, work on being positive during the week, and he's been holding himself to the same standard as well, and we've been making a great team.
Yeah, it's good. Was there a point previously, in a low point, do you think about quitting and doing something else?
Every year, right? Like, seriously, I even do that. I don't think there was one year where I was just like, because I'm a thinker, and I love this sport so much. It's all I've known. It's all I've wanted to know. So there were so many times and so many years that I was just like, what am I doing, right? And my parents were extremely hard on me and amateurs and stuff. And so even when I was winning or getting second or whatever, it was always like, if you're not winning by enough, we should call it quits. We're putting a lot of effort into it. There was a lot of times where they were just like, you're not good enough. You need to quit. So it was kind of a demon I was battling, for the last few years. And honestly, this year, I had a talk with them, and, we were kind of getting into it, and they had suggested again, like, maybe this isn't for you, right? And I kind of blew up and was like, you know what? I'll be the one to decide, And I kind of told everyone in my circle and, everyone around me, I just said, listen, never bring up that word again. I will decide when I want to quit.
Yeah.
And until then, don't bring it up. I'm going to, even if it's not making sense to keep racing, I love it so much, and I'll keep putting up with the hardship I've been dealing with. So ever since then, I've kind of just kept a positive attitude, and when things aren't going good, I'd just be like, quitting's not an option. I want to do this so bad that I'm going to do it regardless of the outcome. And things have definitely took a turn for the better for me.
Dude, love to hear that. One more quick break. Back for more with Carson. Everyone, welcome back to the SML Show presented by Yamaha Motors. Do you think that was the change in your attitude and the positivity and everything that's made a difference in 2026?
I think so. I think a lot of things are timing and a little bit of luck, but I definitely have noticed like a shift in just my energy and things that have been happening to me that, before I was just always kicking myself in the butt going like, why me? Why does this keep happening? And it's not from a lack of effort too. I always worked hard. I always tried hard. I always tried to put myself in the best position. I just felt like maybe I had some negativity over me, you know. And kind of as soon as I got the monkey off my back, and we kind of all agreed, and you know, my parents told me, you know, with just all of us there, my wife, my sister, and you know, they're like, not to be like our lives revolve around you, but it definitely seems like when you're happiest, everything, you know, we're all really stoked too. So take it on yourself to, you know, try and be happy, you know. And since then, I definitely have been working on just exactly that. And it definitely seems like things have been going good for me. And the relationship with the whole family has been awesome. And, you know, because this sport's gnarly, you know, I don't think.
I like to hear that personally, right? Because you seem like mature enough and grateful enough to realize everything that your family sacrificed for you. I mean, granted, your sister's a really high-level dancer, right?
Yeah, she was. She's actually a real estate agent now. And
okay,
she's,
but I mean, even that, they backed her, but that was
Yep.
still kind of a backseat to the Carson
for sure.
Motocross.
100%. It's like, I think it's maybe not talked about enough, and you know, I don't think maybe sometimes people want to hear how gnarly the sport can be, but every rider deals with it. Even the people that say like, "Oh no, me and my family are perfect. We've never had a blowout." They're probably lying. You know, this sport's super gnarly, and it takes an army. There's not too many people that have made it to a high level in the sport without their family backing them. So, and you know, I think any athlete with dealing with their parents every day with just any sport, there's tension and stuff happens, you know, like everyone's kind of at their neck, it seems like, at some point throughout things. So, no, it's good. And that's why I definitely am open and talk about it, you know, because growing up, I was maybe in an era where, you know, there was a few dads that kind of got that persona, like, you know, maybe the Cincerellos or the Alessis, that people just kind of knew, oh, the dad's a hard ass, you know, the kids, you know, things like that. But other than that, it seemed like everyone kind of squeaked by and no one ever looked at it or talked about it or anything like that. So you kind of felt like, man, why is my dad so hard on me? But it's everyone, you know. So it's good, and everyone's human, and I think there's always room to grow no matter how old you are or how young you are. So it's definitely been good for me to kind of become more mature and, you know, be able to have talks with my family and grow and become happier, and I think it's helped everyone, you know. Yeah.
Okay, so where do you sit in points right now?
I think I'm 11th in outdoors, and I think I'm 12th in SMX.
Okay, so 11th with 5 rounds down. Plenty of room for improvement. You're definitely trending up.
Yeah.
Right? So what is the strategy and goal from now until Ironman?
Just keep doing what I'm doing, really. I think one kind of piece of the puzzle I'm missing is I haven't started even in the top 10, really. So if I could get a top 10 start, or if I could get a top 5 start, obviously I got to do the right things once that happens. But you know, if I could start up front a little bit more consistently, it would make my life a little bit easier, because it seems like I got the speed and fitness. I actually just looked at like kind of the race report from last weekend, and I had the fastest lap time out of anybody on the 13th lap and the last lap of the race. So I'm like, that's cool, because I've been kind of I've been telling myself and the team, like, I'm in good shape. I'm fit. And then to see something like that completely proves my point is awesome. It makes me feel good going into Southwick, which is a super gnarly race. But yeah, other than that, I've been just kind of keeping my head down, charging, and I haven't really been making too many bike changes or anything like that with the team. It's just been like, okay, clock in, let's do our work, let's get our reps in at the practice track, not do anything crazy. I have been working on just each day at the practice track. I haven't really been chasing the lap times too much, just doing a lot of technique stuff and
drills,
trying to work on things that I think will help me out for that race weekend. Like today, I just worked on, you know, momentum and riding some more outside lines, because Southwick this weekend is going to be a lot about that. So yeah, just been doing good on that, and just got to keep it up. You know, I think we're trending in the right direction, and I think there's a little bit more in the tank that I'm ready to unleash.
Heck yeah, that's awesome. Well, dude, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thank you.
Again, like I said, you know, we're supposed to be impartial journalists, right? But like, dude, my wife and I, we had our 33rd anniversary last weekend. We're in Vegas watching the race, and she's like, "Oh, Carson," you know.
Thank you.
We all know who you are, and we're all cheering for you. So, thanks for coming by. I hope the rest of the season continues to trend in the same direction. Keep your head down, and We got to talk to your dad about his attitude on health, right?
Yeah, just like you.
Guys, thanks for checking out the SML show. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.